nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Covert.
Here.
Crowner.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Lees. Here. Young. Young.
Melanie?
Here, I'm here.
Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve our consent agenda.
Motion to approve is presented.
Support.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll go to our staff reports, council and staff reports. Greg?
Nothing really tonight, Your Honor. Just welcome to Councilmember Covert tonight, first meeting. In this fashion, different fashion.
Anything from Mike's department, Public Works?
No, I just talked to Mike. He couldn't make it.
Okay. Police department?
Well, we got Melissa here tonight, new police officer. We'll do the oath of office for her here in just a minute. We're coming up, working with Eldon, and we're going to try to get the stats for last year for you guys in the city council meeting of what we did last year. On the fire side, we ended up with about 705 calls for the year, and tomorrow I'm going to start that transition of ESO, our reporting system with the fire department, transitioning from emergency reporting to ESO. Tomorrow I got a conference call, so that's about what's going on.
Now, what is that exactly?
It's that our reporting system that you guys approved about a month or two ago. It just transitioning, taking all of our old data and putting it into the new software, and because emergency reporting's end of life, so they're not upgrading it or anything. So we had to find a new company. So.
Okay, thank you.
Different overtime.
Anything from our clerk?
Not tonight.
Finance? No. Okay.
Mayor, you want to go and do the oath of office?
Oh, sorry. Come forward, please. You raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Melissa Brick,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
and I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all the duties of the office of police officer
discharge all the duties of the office of a police officer
in the city of West Burlington, Iowa,
in the city of West Burlington, Iowa,
as now or hereafter required by law.
as now or hereafter required by law.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Welcome. Make sure that you
Welcome.
sign this.
Welcome, Melissa.
Have your board.
Have you fill out this paperwork.
Okay.
She is the third one on that.
Therese, do you have anything?
25 years going on.
Reports or,
I do not.
okay,
Start off the new year right.
I guess so. John?
No, I don't have a whole lot tonight.
Andy?
Business of the Year, just started taking nominations basically today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So nominations will be open between now and the last day of January. The winner will be announced the third Thursday in March, just like last year, kind of a surprise, just like last year. So that is open on the website, westburlingtoniowa.gov/business, or you can get to it right from the homepage or Facebook or anywhere else we're at. So nominations open, feel free. Anybody, any business in West Burlington can be nominated. You can nominate yourself. All the reasons and voting points are all on there, the information we're looking for, so everything's right there on the website.
So just go to the West Burlington website and...
Yep, it has it right there. There's just a quick and easy form. A couple contact details, just if we need to get a hold of you, but those that vote won't have those details. But that way we know who's nominated who, and fill out a couple questions, probably take you 10 minutes and be done.
Thank you. Councilman Covert, do you have anything?
No, I'm all ears right now.
All right, thank you. I remind the council that your homework is due. The only person that had turned it in is Mr. Crowner. So he has given me a nice list of people for the Mayor's Advisory Council, which I will go through and...
I didn't know if we were supposed to be talking about that at a meeting, or if we were supposed to hand
No,
that
just
to you.
just hand it to me, or like Andy did, he sent his via email, yeah. So whichever way you want to do it. Okay. Other than that, I think we can go on to community reports. So, Mrs. Teeter.
Kind of hard to put 3 months' information into one short presentation, but I tried to do that.
You might put your mic up so the people online can hear.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. And let's see. Into this. I usually don't talk about finances, but I thought at the end of the year I should maybe mention a little bit about the finances of the library. Costs on a lot of things are going up. The library expects, for example, the cost of electricity to increase by 20%. I think that's just everybody's electricity is going up. But what we pay for library services will not increase that much by the contract. Oh, okay, did that not go? Sorry.
Now they've got full screen.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so we have a 10-year agreement. We're just in the second year of the agreement, and so it's 2% per year. Funding for the library comes mostly from public funds, as it should, because it's a public library, but it also receives money from private donations. There's a foundation, and of course the Footnotes has book sales frequently, and that also helps provide some of the funding. So what do we get for all that money? During the fiscal year, which is not the same, of course, as our calendar year, the library added 4,386 books and removed 12,238, which were outdated. And every library needs to purge the collection from time to time because there are materials on shelves that just, aren't used. At the end of the fiscal year, then, there were 122,054 books and 102,738 e-books available through the library. In terms of other collection data, you can see on the slide there are a lot of audio materials, video materials, and so forth, for a total of 156,508 physical items in the library, and also over 300,000 downloadable items. The library collection includes books, videos, audio materials, create collection items, and downloadable items. And you may wonder why a cake pan and a decorated cake that looks like a train is up there, because you are able to check out cake pans from the library. So if you have a desire to make a Mickey Mouse cake, you could go to the library and check out a cake pan. So they're just, it's just astounding the amount of items available at the library. Programs also are vast. programs for people of all ages, as you can see from the slide, and lots of participation. So total for the year, 998 different programs were offered with a participation of 30,417 people. And the reason the dinosaur is on there is because there was a program about dinosaurs, but it couldn't be held in the library itself because there wasn't enough room for all the people who were interested, so it was held at the Port of Burlington building. And the library has also made use of other facilities because as big and beautiful as the library is, it's running out of space for the number of people involved in some of the programming. So. Something that might reassure people who are worried about checking out books and having to pay fines because they forget to return them is there are no fines at the library. So overdue books are history. Books are automatically renewed. I know I checked out a brand new book which was due back in 7 days and I just hadn't had time to read it, and I was worried because it was a new book, and I checked with the library and the librarian said, oh, that's been renewed for you, and you can check on that online. You don't have to call. So books are renewed. If you should lose or terribly damage a book, of course, as a user, there is a charge for that. The Burlington Library had over 16,000 users, people with library cards. The door count, which doesn't include off-site programs, was 116,578. So that's how many people went in and out of the library last year. There's been a lot in the news about concerns over certain books that are available, and our library has had very few complaints about books. I believe during Brittany's predecessor's term as director, that was Rhonda Freevert, she had only 2 people express concerns about books, and those were handled just by talking to Rhonda, and that's as far as it went. The Burlington Public Library does support the First Amendment and the Library Bill of Rights and the American Library Association Freedom to Read statement. People can choose not to read certain materials or not let their children read certain materials, but they can't, they don't have the right to just say, nobody gets to have this book in the library. But there is a process to go through. There's a packet. It's called a Statement of Concern packet that is handed out to anybody who expresses a concern, and then each of those steps is followed as necessary. So anybody, is from Burlington or a resident of a city that has a contract, so like any of us could go to the library and say, well, I don't think you ought to have this book on the shelf. And one of the steps in that process is the person making the complaint has to have actually read the book and not just, said, well, I don't like the title of that book and it doesn't sound like something we want to have. I encourage everybody to keep up to date on what's happening at the library, and does everyone here receives that, correct? I don't know if you're getting a copy yet, but you should.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I haven't yet.
And Ringo, you have one too. Okay, so you know that there are lots of things going on at the library. I just mentioned a couple in my notes. So, if there are any chess players here, there's chess Saturday morning, January 6th from 9 a.m. to noon. It's a drop-in sort of thing. If you have issues with technology, you can drop in any Tuesday between 3 and 4, and Sam, who works at the library, will help. He's a great resource. Also coming up this month, for those of you who garden, there's something called Gardening Folklore, and a master gardener is going to do a presentation. On January 6th also, that's the Saturday for chess, there's That's Yesterday News, and a historian is going to be there talking about the Civil War, and he uses local newspapers as a source of information. So I think it would be really interesting to find out what was being written in the Burlington newspaper during the Civil War. I don't know if some of you are interested in that. Something for children that's coming up also early in January is the building blocks, and kids get together and build with Legos. And so if you have kiddos in your family, that might be something to attend. Do you have any questions for me that I can take to the library board meeting, which will be in 2 weeks? We usually meet the fourth Wednesday, but this month we're meeting the third because of a conference. So if there are any questions, I'd be glad to jot them down. And
Actually, I think you can answer mine. The chess thing, is there age groups in that, or is it just everybody thrown in one age group for the chess? And is that kind of a tournament, or is that?
I think it's not a tournament. I think people go and play for fun. I don't know that it's divided by age groups. I must confess I haven't been. It's been a long time since I played chess.
I got some grandkids.
And I keep thinking I would.
Really good at it.
Well, take them and see how it goes.
Well, they think they're good anyway.
Well, yes, I think it would be a fun thing. And my experience in the past, of course, this was not at the library, but with Burlington Chess Club, is that the adults who were involved in Burlington Chess Club were really willing to help youngsters play because they wanted people to learn. So,
And another, on those books that aren't turned back in and they're automatically renewed.
Right.
Some point in time, you got to declare them being
Lost.
So
Yes,
how many
I
times
don't
is
know
that?
what that is. I think it would depend on the material. For example, the book I checked out was due back in 1 week because it was a brand-new book.
Right.
And so, but I had it, I had to check it out even a third time because I didn't have it finished. And it was just automatically renewed. So I think probably after so many renewals, and I can ask about that if you'd like me to, at some point, the library will say, do you still have this book, or is it
You need to pay for
lost?
it or something, yeah.
And if so, it will cost this much to replace it. Or, if you find it, bring it in, and then there's still not going to be a fine.
And my last question is, you said that utilities was going to go up 20%.
Well, I don't know. I think that's what I have been hearing, too, that the cost of electricity is going up.
But
Alliant Energy?
20%, I mean,
I thought,
that sounds like an awful lot to go up unless you added things, and that's what I was getting at. Did you guys add more stuff?
no, they're not talking about specifically at the library. I think Alliant Energy was talking about increasing the cost by 20%. Is that not right, Mr. Mayor?
I've been in contact with a few other mayors, and they are putting together a petition to go against what Alliant is suggesting. So, and I can't say that it's 20%, but I know that the number of the mayors in the state are now saying that they're going to have a petition to see if they can stop this increase from Alliant.
They have a request before the Iowa Utilities Board.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how much is that for?
I don't remember offhand, but it was significant.
I see. Okay.
So, I mean, that's not carved in stone, but that's what they are, they're planning, they're trying to prepare for that in case, that happens. They did have the utility bill go down to $7,000 one month. I don't remember why that happened, but that was a good thing.
That's a good thing. Thank you.
Yes, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Mrs. Teeter.
Oh, you're welcome, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Rebecca.
And do you want me to do something with this?
You're good.
You can just leave it right there. I'll
Leave
take
it there?
care of
Okay.
it. Thank you.
That, any citizen inquiries for the council? And we have no old business, so I'll go into new business at this point. We're considering awarding the construction bid for Gear Avenue Extension Project. Do we have a presentation on that in addition to our paperwork or not?
Should say
I
Gear
didn't-
Avenue Trail Extension.
Phase 2.
Gear Avenue Trail Extension Project, yeah.
Do you want a motion in a second, or do you want me to speak to it ahead of time?
I would prefer a motion in a second, and then we can,
I'll motion to
Discussion.
approve, motion to approve the low bid.
Support.
motion and support. Discussion.
So you have the information in front of you. The last engineer estimate that we had was a little over $1.2 million. The bid came in at 1.491777, which is an increase over the estimate of $279,165. Originally, our local match for construction was around $219,144. Based on that estimate, that would bring it to $498,309, a net cost of $629 with construction management and grant administration with regional planning. This is a confidential bid process with IDOT. I can't go into the details. I can give you the numbers. I can hit some of the highlights. I can't give you the quantities or the unit prices until the bid is awarded or rejected. And if it's rejected, I can't provide those bid quantities. However, I can briefly touch on maybe three of the higher items. And for your information, Dax Sutton is with Snyder and Associates is on the Zoom call as well. Dax wasn't feeling very good, so he's not here tonight, but he is available for questions and on the Zoom call. Three highest items were removals. Got it in my memo here. Mobilization, curb and gutter work. We saw the biggest increase in costs over the engineer's estimate. We have grants of $993,468 from TAP, SRT, and the Walmart grant. And I guess one other point, in talking with Snyder regarding the bid, the trail itself is asphalt, and for an estimated $11,000 to $12,000, a little over $11,000, we could potentially swap that out for concrete, which would give us a longer life with the trail. However, that said, those discussions and any value engineering that we may be able to do with the low bidder can't be done until the bid is awarded. So there's no guarantees that there would be value engineering or that the cost would be a little over $11,000. We'd have to bring that back to council via a change order if we were able to bring the cost down or desire to do concrete in lieu of asphalt with the low bidder. But that would be handled through a change order once the bid is awarded and after we're able to have discussions with the contractor. Jones Contracting was the low bid on the previous section of trail. Don't believe we had any issues with that project. Seemed to go well. This portion of the bridge does have the, trail does have the bridge involved, which we did not have earlier. But in general, costs have gone up substantially and significantly higher than the estimate. Originally, our local match was, as discussed, we discussed the local option sales tax and tax increment financing. To meet the local match, we have the undesignated TIF fund balance. Local option sales tax has more flexibility. I'd recommend that we use the undesignated TIF fund balance to meet our local match if we were to move forward with the project, which is my recommendation. Happy to answer any questions. And Dax is available to answer any questions you might have from an engineering standpoint.
Did you say the trail was actually asphalt and you could save money going to concrete? Is that what I heard you say?
No, it'd be a slight increase, a little over $11,000 based on
Which way?
based on the numbers that we received.
Okay.
But asphalt, 15, 20 years versus 30, 40 years. So your savings would come in the lifespan of the project. The trail need to overlay or repair, improve down the road, cracks, etc. Concrete's a better surface in general.
And it lasts many years more.
Right,
Many,
so
many,
$11,000 plus to me, if that is the cost, would seem to make sense to me, but that would come back in the form of a change order, as would any savings that we were able to potentially discuss and bring back to the council. No guarantees again, excuse me, but we would certainly work with our engineer, sit down with the contractor and see if there were any ways to save. And perhaps since my understanding is they're a concrete contractor, maybe having just concrete on the job for the curb gutter and the trail, maybe that'll prevent some type of savings from a mobilization perspective. I don't know. But those are discussions we can't have with the contractor prior to award.
Right.
Those have to come afterwards.
But I would think that that would just be a no-brainer to do that.
I think it is. I agree.
The curb and gutter, what's the story on that?
We have curb and gutter along the trail. We have sections where on the west side, where the number of openings is being reduced or there's repairs, and on the east side, you have the 2-3 foot median that establishes a safety buffer for the east side of the trail. The trail is at grade with the parking lot, so that requires curb and gutter work on that section, that small median on the east side from a safety perspective.
How much of that is there? Like 100 feet of it, 300 feet? I couldn't find it.
I can't give you the exact in dollar amounts for the contract, but those are the three highest areas where the bid was over the engineer's estimate.
Well, I have a couple points of clarification if I may. This is Dax from Snyder. To answer Councilmember's question about the length of the median along the parking lot, it's about 1,300 feet of median within that parking lot. And then I did just want to clarify real quick when we talk about the concrete trail versus the asphalt trail. Currently, the trail within the Gear Avenue right-of-way is planned to be concrete. So it's only the section within the parking lot area that's proposed to be asphalt at this time.
Correct. Yes. Where it's already asphalt in the parking lot.
1,300 feet, is that one?
It's just to make a couple comments. I don't think any of us like that the bid is this far over, obviously, but it also doesn't surprise me that it's over, just in general, everything in the world being high through inflation. I also think we're probably running into some cost increases because of lack of employees and even materials because of future things at the ammo plant, I think will start to become an issue. So I would hate to see us throw away close to $1 million in grants that you've worked hard and we've received, and I don't like swallowing this increase, but I feel like it's something we got to do, and I feel like I like your recommendation of using those TIF dollars to do it. So I'm in favor of moving forward, but I sure wish that bill was a lot lighter.
And on that note, Andy, could Dax speak to what he feels and just the gut feel on the likelihood of the proposed potential savings to occur? In other words, are these pie-in-the-sky ideas, are they got some merit to them regarding potential cost savings? Thanks, Dax.
Yeah, I'll try to talk about that. Like Greg mentioned, we can't really talk specific numbers since we're in a public setting like this. But we have kind of looked at the bids received from both of the bidders and have identified some items where we think it's a possibility that we could negotiate with the awarded contractor to reduce some costs and still achieve the goals of the project.
Any other discussion? If not, I would call for a roll call vote on this.
Crowner,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lees, Aye. Young,
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Second item is to consider resolution naming the official newspaper for the city.
In the past, we've named Des Moines County News, which was local paper here right in town. They're not actually in town anymore, the actual office isn't. And the Hawkeye. And the reason we had done two of them, one, Des Moines County News was in town and had circulation in town, but the Hawkeye does have a daily publication versus a weekly publication. And this year we have a new paper that has asked for consideration to be the official paper, so there's 3 options here for you. And my concern is I want to be just consistent, so for transparency with the public, if they're expecting to see something in typically this paper, I don't want to skip around and have something published in one paper or
Most things
not
are,
be consistent with where we're publishing is my biggest issue or concern.
most things are published in the Des Moines County News, which is a weekly paper. That said, if we have timelines or deadlines to meet, that's when we utilize the Hawkeye in their daily newspaper. But
Is there any downside to naming 3?
Well, just that my only concern is being consistent with which one we want to use as the main one that we publish in. Just for that reason. I don't want to publish in all 3 just because the cost of doing that.
What is the cost on a year?
I don't have a yearly. It's based, it depends on what you have published, but there's a rate that the state sets for legal publications.
But, I mean, what did we basically spend?
I'm not sure about that. Angie might be able to look it up.
Well,
We do, like for advertising things and extra things, we do both right now for, but
jobs, et cetera.
Jobs.
This is for legal
ads.
notices.
right.
Right.
I mean, I've seen the value and saw it on school board too, of sometimes we have to get something out faster than a weekly paper can do. So I feel like we have to have the Hawkeye included in that list. However, there's value in both of the other newspapers, and Des Moines County News being the one that's typically here in the room and reporting on us on a regular basis, and the Beacon also providing value. I would motion to name all 3 officially. Now, you, on a day-to-day basis, you can do that how you wish, but from a council standpoint, that would be my motion.
And we would most likely consistently follow the practice that we have where Des Moines County News is the primary, and then we utilize the other papers as necessary.
Do you see any downside to having all 3, Greg and Kelly?
Well, not as long as we're consistent, and I think we have been. And we utilize the daily only when we have to, from a notice perspective, or we want to reach a larger audience as well, for job openings, et cetera, not legal notices necessarily.
Do you know the circulation, the number of circulation you have in West Burlington?
I know for a while, people had been not resubscribing to the Hawkeye because it was a hit and miss in getting their paper and things of that nature, and I would like a backup with the Beacon. It seems like the Beacon can put news out quicker on Facebook than the Hawkeye.
What's the legal requirements? Do we have to have it in a paper form, or can it be, it has to be paper? Okay.
There has been legislation or attempted legislation to move it to an online process on the city's website, for example. That has not been successful, and there's still the paper requirement under state code. Personally, I'd like to see that go away.
Well, Andy, I like your idea that we have 3 papers, but I think that'll cause confusion. You know, if we're going to mainly keep status quo, I mean, not status quo, if we're going to keep and be consistent, then where is the advantage of having a third one? No matter which one it is, where's that advantage at?
And we always talk about, we want people to be more engaged, and I feel like we should be reaching out to all outlets. on all things. Now, from a legal standpoint, we have to name somebody that we can issue legal notices, but from a more philosophical standpoint, I would name all three, that we want to communicate with everybody, no matter what they're reading.
But if we don't do that, because we're going to stay consistent with one and the Hawkeye, what's,
Well, the problem, John, is half the people that were Hawkeye subscribers are now Beacon subscribers because of the lack of delivery to them.
I just don't see the downside of naming all three. Kelly will be consistent with her daily practice, just like she is, but from a city standpoint, then we say, we want to give you the news where you're at and where you're reading it, and that's what's important to us.
and I like all three of them. And I would just as soon leave it the way it is and stay with the Des Moines County, and then people know that that's where it's going to be. That they don't have to subscribe to Beacon just because we have them on for a third person, or vice versa, Beacon or Des Moines. I would just as soon stay with them. So, and just name the two, and that's not saying that the Beacon's, I like the Beacon, I subscribe to it, but I would just soon stay with it.
Well, I look for a motion then. Andy?
So moved, all three.
Support.
I have a motion and support on all three. This one requires a roll call.
Yep. Johnson?
Yay.
Is that a yay or an A?
Yay, that was a yay.
Lees?
Aye.
Young?
Aye.
Covert?
Aye.
Crowner?
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. Going on to number 3, consider a resolution appointing a representative to the Southeast Iowa Regional Planning Commission Board of Directors.
I would motion to approve Mayor Teeter if he's so willing.
Support, still willing.
All right. Motion, support.
You
Call for a
didn't say if you were willing.
I'm willing. Yeah, I'm willing. I think Greg was my.
Melanie is
Melanie
elected
was my
official.
stand-in. That's all right.
Yes.
That's right. So,
And Melanie is the alternative?
yes, please. If she's willing.
Yes, I'm willing.
Okay. In that case, let's have a roll call on this one.
Lees?
Aye.
Young?
Aye.
Covert?
Aye.
Crowner?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Review city council and staff appointments to various boards and commissions and consider amending appointments if necessary.
I just added the list of the different people we have right now. Let's see, a mayor. Some of these are appointed, have to be, elected officials. They're kind of color-coded up there. Hans is serving an appointment till the end of next year for the airport. And Andy is also serving on the CVB until through this year.
And then I would love, as much as I love that, that board, for somebody to take that spot next year would be great.
What board's that?
That's the Convention Tourism Bureau Steering Committee. So, but I've got another year on that term, but then they do like to change those in and out fairly frequently, and before me was Kelly, I know, for a long time, so.
So what does that board do?
We meet every other month in the large full chamber board meeting. Then you break out into a separate group where basically you oversee the finances and everything going on in the Convention Tourism Bureau, or Visitors Bureau, sorry, there at the chamber. And we go to a lot of ribbon cuttings, and we give out grants to different events that are looking to either come to town, like a fishing tournament recently, or other local events that are looking for funds, so we steer that. We work on the visitor's guide, on the website. Anything to do with tourism kind of falls under that steering committee. But I'd done it 16 years ago or so as a representative through a company, and then I've been on 4-ish years now, so I think it would be good for me to step off next year.
It meets Tuesdays at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Just
It's an early
so
one.
that probably takes Teresa out of the mix.
Yeah.
Just so you know, Tuesdays at 7:30 is when the board meets, and then we break out into the various,
Yeah, usually done by 9.
But that's something we can talk about a bit later here.
Yeah, but be thinking
Yeah.
somebody, so.
You sounded interested, so.
I'd be
yeah.
honest.
Anything else that we need discussion-wise on this?
clarify, Andy, was that for 24 or 25?
25.
25?
Yeah,
Okay.
End of this.
And I am the member of the 911 board for the city of West Burlington.
No, it's not on there.
How come we don't have your name there?
Yeah.
Well,
well.
it was Sean, so I just took it off and named him.
The only other thing I want to mention is I'm hoping at some point, I don't know if it'll be this year, but I'm hoping the chamber will create that housing board, which I would love to sit on that at some point. Maybe that's a year or two out still, I don't know, but I'm very interested in doing that, of course, through my profession, so.
I have a meeting out there tomorrow. I'll ask, see what the status is on that. I'd asked at the board meeting, and they said regional planning was coordinating that. Anybody want to be on Solid Waste Commission? John, you like to talk trash. You want to be on Solid Waste Commission? 4 o'clock's on Tuesdays at 4 o'clock.
Did you guys get that?
Good one, good one.
That was good, Greg.
Happy to.
I make a motion to approve the council appointment and staff appointments to the boards and commissions.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Let's see. Consider appointing Karen Dewey, Kathy Newberry, and Mike Davis to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion?
3 good choices.
I just want to thank Gary and Larissa for serving on the board, and they've spent several years doing that, especially Gary, so we have a certificate of appreciation to send to him. We'll do that.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay, our last item is consider a side letter of understanding between the City of West Burlington and the Communication Workers of America Police Department Union regarding the wage scale for an officer assigned to be the special assignment of K-9 unit.
If we were to have a K-9 officer, it would be required to do a letter of understanding rather than, it's simpler than doing an amendment to the contract for that officer's wage. The union has proposed the following, which follows or is consistent with the Burlington and Des Moines County K-9 officers. 8 hours of pay at the overtime rate per pay period, that's 26 pay periods. For the K-9 officer, if one is unable to perform their duties for illness or sick leave as well. But this is, would be required to amend the pay if we're going to continue with the K-9 officer position. Talked about this the prior presentation. 22,000 has been raised to date. Here's my numbers. $22,607.59 has been raised after the last raffle. We have an additional raffle and a trivia night that's coming up first for additional funding. Annual costs such as vet, food, and related costs. The police officers had indicated they'd be doing an annual fundraising to continue to support the canine efforts, as they have been with the initial efforts as well. The city's ongoing costs would be overtime for the police officer and the insurance that we talked about at the last council meeting, which was $289, plus or minus, for the property insurance. Happy to answer any questions you might have. Or Jesse, do you have anything additional?
I don't have anything additional.
My only comment is I wish we spelled out in item 3 some length of if the officer is unable to perform their duties due to illness, injury, or leave. That not for one day, but if they're out for multiple weeks or some time period. I wish that was in there, but otherwise.
We can certainly add something in there, take it back to the union. I mean, if you want to act on it tonight, 2 weeks is a common term. When somebody's out for more than 2 weeks, you typically supplement their pay from a union perspective. That would seem appropriate to me. I'd be willing to recommend that if council wished to do something like that. Jesse, do you think that's appropriate?
I would think so.
I know in practice you'll probably do something like that anyway, but it would be nice to have that spelled out.
Certainly, understand. Mm-hmm. If that's the case, I'd suggest you just make that as part of your motion.
Yeah.
Any other questions that we can answer?
No, I don't have any.
I don't have a motion on the floor at the
I'll
moment.
motion to approve as amended.
Support.
Are you saying 2 weeks?
Yes.
Motion and support. I don't need a roll call here. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. At this point, do we have any citizen inquiries? Council? If not, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support. Motion support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign.